Good morning, my friends, and welcome back. It is time for the Morning Mindset. Time for you and for me to get our minds aligned with the truth of God. And today we're going to do that through repetition. That may be a funny way to be introduced to the topic, but in the Bible, especially in the different forms of literature like the Psalms are, poetry, repetition is used to drive a point home. It's used to make the point obvious. And in this particular chapter, Psalm 136, that is definitely the case. Now, you've noticed some repetition that you may be curious about, like in the New Testament, where Jesus says things like, "Truly, truly, I say to you." Well, he's saying the word truly twice to emphasize how important this is for people to listen to. Well, in this chapter that we're looking at, there is a phrase that is repeated over and over. And because these are songs that were likely used in worship in Israel, it's quite possible that that line that's going to be repeated throughout this psalm is one that the congregation would say back to the leader of worship, who is saying the other phrases in between. So I'm just going to read this psalm and let it speak for itself, because it is powerful when you let the repetition sink in. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who alone does great wonders, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who by understanding made the heavens, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who spread out the earth above the waters, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who made the great lights, for his steadfast love endures forever. The sun to rule over the day, for his steadfast love endures forever. The moon and stars to rule over the night, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who struck down the firstborn of Egypt, for his steadfast love endures forever, and brought Israel out from among them, for his steadfast love endures forever, with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who divided the Red Sea in two, for his steadfast love endures forever, and made Israel pass through the midst of it, for his steadfast love endures forever, but overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the Red Sea, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who led his people through the wilderness, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who struck down great kings, for his steadfast love endures forever, and killed mighty kings, for his steadfast love endures forever. Sihon, king of the Amorites, for his steadfast love endures forever, and Og, king of Bashan, for his steadfast love endures forever, and gave their land as a heritage, for his steadfast love endures forever, a heritage to Israel, his servant, for his steadfast love endures forever. It is he who remembered us in our low estate, for his steadfast love endures forever, and rescued us from our foes, for his steadfast love endures forever. He who gives food to all flesh, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of heaven, for his steadfast love endures forever. So, my friends, what do you think the point of recounting all of that history was? It was to drive home the fact that in all the circumstances of the life of the history of Israel, God's steadfast love never failed them. His steadfast love was always there and will always be there. Imagine yourself in the congregation, being among those who are decreeing with every phrase that God's steadfast love endures forever, and realize that in the course of your life today, you have the opportunity to make that same declaration. His steadfast love endures forever over your life.